I got cut off early because can only record with 10 minutes or 10 minutes at a time. I was about to say see you in part three. I just said I'll see you. Anyways, so this is part three. If you haven't seen the other parts, go watch them. I don't know why you'd be watching that. This if you haven't. So this card, nice card. Not always the greatest. Sometimes you do boosted it because sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't have cards you want to get rid of. You know, like you do have plenty, like 3 copy, 2 copy. This is a 3 copy. But sometimes you just have 3 squash bananas and look beyond what you see in your hand. I don't know. And then you probably don't want to play that. Um, Still, it's a fun card. I think it's pretty fun. I find Rafiki pretty fun. He can get repetitive if you play him a bit too much. But it's just this card is like most of Rafiki right there because you plan that with your just with the top 5 you're gonna want to with like among the trees, which is what I'm about to get to. I know I already talked about that. I just as you're looking at the deck, he'll probably be in your own head like probably hopefully thinking of strategies and be like, oh yeah, that's cool. As you do when you look at a deck. Hopefully things start clicking together because I'm not the greatest deck maker. I like to think I'm pretty good, but I don't know. Yeah, do share what you think in comments. Maybe things you would change, buffs, nerfs, maybe just an effect change to make it funner. Whatever your ideas are, tell me. I will take criticism. It's to make the deck better. You know, I want the deck to be good. Do keep in mind though, this is for our meta, our 2v2 meta we play them in. Um, what I could do is add an extra rule card on each one of these decks. Tell me what you think of this, I guess. If anybody is watching this, you know, we have like 0 subs. Um, anyways, I could add like this is our 2v2 meta, and if you want to play this with normal unmatched fighters, add these buffs to the deck, and it'll have specific like things like add +1 value to this or something like that. Maybe that'd be a good idea. I don't want to fill decks with too many extra rule cards because I don't like it when there's so many extra rule cards. It feels like I have to kind of like read a paragraph. This card. No, I just like some decks have like 20 extra rule cards, and there's reasons why, and it makes sense. But I like just a simple ability like this. I know I don't always stick to that myself. I sometimes go too heavy into a gimmick, and like I made a Bowser deck that turned just into a raid boss just because I went too heavy into the gimmick. So now it's just a raid boss, and it doesn't really work as a normal fighter that well. So sometimes that happens. Anyways, we'll get into this card. I love this card. It is a 2 copy. It feels like a 3 copy. Why do I always get it so much? I don't know. 2 value, among the trees. I like the art. This one. During combat, you may make your opponent blind boost their card. If you do, you may do the same up to 2 times. So you can blind boost this card twice. So you can put like maybe 2 of those. Probably like one of those or something like that. Sometimes I do let the path can hurt get boosted away if it is worth it. Um, you know, Temporarily on the circumstance because this card, that gain action, draw 2, and everything, you can pick the 2 cards you want and then blind boost with this on offense, and then you can do crazy damage. So plenty of strategy and plans with that card you can do. You can play on defense, but it's not the greatest because this is a 2 value. They might be attacking with a 4 or a 5 value, maybe. Then they blind boost their card. Yes, you can blind boost your card twice, but I'm not sure if that's worth it because you're just going to exhaustion, which Rafiki can kind of do, and not much would change with the value difference. So kind of just save this for offense, I guess, because Rafiki's pretty fine in health and defense. Because this does get played on defense quite a bit, just because its effects doesn't get used too much. But sometimes it's pretty fun. It is a 2 copy. I thought it was a 3 copy. I don't know. This card planned all along. During combat, if you have 10 or less cards in your deck, add 2 to this card's value, and it is a 4 value versatile. So that can be a 6 on defense or offense. Like, that is so good. You do have to have 10 or less cards in your deck. So you'll see someone, when one of us is playing Rafiki, you'll just see them start counting cards in the deck and like, oh, I know what card you have. It's just like a dead giveaway. Um, you know, um, so I'll see like Atlas counting his deck, and I'll be like, "How many cards do you have?" And he's like, "9." And I'm like, "Oh shoot!" Because then he's gonna attack me with a 6 or defend with a 6 against like my larger than life or something. Um, you know, like, um, so it's just such a good card. We do have another fighter, Dream, that Minecraft YouTuber. We made him. Atlas made him. You know, kicks and giggles, I guess. No. His manhunts were really cool. He should have continued them. I don't know. Okay, I'll stop talking about Minecraft YouTubers and get back to this deck. Um, so this is just a really, really good card. It could be just really heavily telegraphed if they have it, or they're gonna play it by them just physically counting their deck. Like, just like, yeah. But that's just such a good card to have. We've been pretty lucky with having it like later in our deck. If you get it in your starting hand, that's like a automatic mulligan, that, right? You don't want that to be in your starting hand. So he is alive. This is a good card. It's a 2 value versatile. Immediately move the opposing fighter 4 spaces. They may move through opposing fighters and traps. I don't know why I specified traps. Maybe in case you're fighting against Muldoon. You know, I, by traps I meant traps and tokens. Let me just add that. Like, we have Bruce, the shark from Jaws, so you can move through those without having to deal with that effect that they have, I guess. You know, so that's I just felt like adding that, I guess. After combat, if your opponent is out of your zone, you may recover 1 health or move adjacent to them and gain 1 action. So, if you're playing on defense, which does happen sometimes because it's not the greatest defense card, but sometimes that happens, as it goes in the match, whatever's going on in that match, I guess. Um, but then you can just push them out of your way on defense and recover 1 health. So it's like a 3 value, just push them all the way across the board. But on offense, sometimes before, because with this card, sometimes, you can have like 2 of these in one hand, play both them, gain action, then attack with Squash Banana or Plant all along. So Rafiki can do some wild mischief like that. But you'd be surprised. His offense just doesn't seem to work. When you look at a deck, like uh any deck, and you haven't played them or seen anything, it can be kind of hard to get an idea of what they might be like. Um, like this deck, the offense seems like totally fine, right? You just have to kind of just be smarter, I guess. To get some of these bigger cards to hit well, like this one. But yeah, Rafiki can be fun and pretty rewarding. Just to get that big attack in, and it just feels like super great. Um, it can be hard to do that. Sometimes Rafiki, because Rafiki's hand can kind of deplete fast. I don't know what it is about that. Probably just the characters, because again, in our meta, just the specific like chemistry, I guess. I don't know, like you combine the right elements, like Rafiki has the right card effects, and then in our meta, we have all the other characters that have the right other card effects just to make Rafiki his hand just to his card size and his hand size to deplete fast, but he can fill it up fast, I guess. But I think this character might be better in normal and matched than he's in our meta. Anyways, here are some stats. Let me know.